Well, I'm going live right now. Greetings to everybody who's coming on, and I appreciate you for tuning in tonight. So, welcome to John G. Jones Research Lodge number 147. Tonight, you see the topic. The topic is tonight, PHA Grand Lodges are not really sovereign Grand Lodge bodies. That is tonight's topic. So, if you want to get into this, or if you want to call in, that number is 619. Let me get a call in number. That's the call in number if you want to call in today and have a conversation. But anyway, so we're going to get right into this. We're talking about Prince Hall Grand Lodges are not really sovereign Grand Lodges. And I'm going to break this down. I'm going to tell you why. There's only a couple. No, there's only one sovereign Grand Lodge that I know of that's under Prince Hall. Only one. And I'm going to tell you which that one is. But first, before I do that, I want to welcome everybody that is coming in today. And the reason for this particular topic is because brothers of the craft and get into this back and forth in between regularities and who's this and who's that. They do. And in the process, they don't respect each other along the way. We lose respect for each other within the conversation of just having a dialogue, and it bothers me. So tonight I decided to come up with this particular conversation because what happens in most dialogues, most individuals, not all but most, depends on what side of the aisle you're on, they always want to throw up this regularity thing. You're not recognizing what's this all about. So tonight we're going to go a little bit deeper than that. We're going to actually have this conversation about the National Grand Lodge and some other things that may pop up within the boundaries of Freemasonry in its history. So if you want to come on and have a conversation, you're certainly welcome to do so, because I believe it's a conversation that needs to be had for the brothers of the craft to have a better understanding of Freemasonry in how complex it can be. It is just not one big organization or one big happy family. It is not. I'm just going to be honest with you. Some brothers of the craft and even some sisters of the Order of the Eastern Star do not consider me to be such, but that is of their own free will and accord. However, for those who truly know me for who I am and for what I'm all about. They've had conversations with me. They know that I'm willing to do what I say I'm going to do. So with that being said, we're going to get into tonight's show. First, I want to say this. Without the National Grand Lodge, or what they call the Compact of Grand Lodges, there would be no Black Masons. Although Prince Hall may have, along with the 14, may have started and gotten it going, although that was illegal as we know it today, but they got it going. I'm going to give them that credit. They got it going, and they deserve the very credit that they get for getting it going. So to Prince Hall and those 14 other gentlemen, Thomas and the rest of them that was along with Prince Hall, who really forged Black Masonry as we know it along today. Some people would tell you in the Masonic issues, there's no Black Mason or White Mason, but I'm here to tell you that that's a bald-faced lie. In reality, you're dealing with Black Masons, you're dealing with White Masons, you're dealing with Filipino Masons, you're dealing with cultural Freemasonry. Everyone who's a Mason bring their culture into it. Let's not be fooled. So as we go on this journey tonight, talking about Freemasonry, what it's all about, what it isn't, and we're going to have this conversation about Brother Slaughter. You know what? Brother Slaughter is doing what Brother Slaughter is doing. You know, Randolph Slaughter, for those who don't know. We're going to have that conversation tonight, because I believe that once again, we need to have that conversation. A lot of people don't want to have an honest conversation. So if you want to have an honest conversation, if you want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. If you want to chat in the chat room, you're certainly welcome to do so. So with that being said, I'm going to read some to you because I want you to understand my point of view of where I'm coming from at this time. Okay? And I had to get this down. All right? So, Prince Hall Grand Lodges are not a sovereign body, and here's why. Okay? In 1994, recognition amongst the Prince Hall body was only given to the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts from the UGLE. They the only two. Okay? They the only two. The UGLE and the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts are the only two that have what you call a sovereign recognition amongst each other. Now, the other Prince Hall bodies, in order for you to get recognized by the UGLE, you must give up your sovereignty. Hear what I'm saying? You must give up your sovereignty, or when I say give up your sovereignty, what I'm clearly saying is that the Grand Lodge of State must recognize you, must agree to share territories with you. They have to change their bylaws, their constitution to suit the mere fact that they're going to give you recognition. That's when I say give up sovereignty. Okay? That's what I mean, give up sovereignty. For another jurisdiction to say, you know what? We're going to change our bylaws and constitution, so therefore you will be recognized by us. And then with that being said, the UGLE will recognize you. Look, a sovereign Grand Lodge, two sovereign bodies, don't need a third party. UGLE doesn't need the Grand Lodge of State to recognize Prince Hall Freemasons. They really don't. They can just say, we recognize Prince Hall Grand Lodge of such and such, such and such, such and such, and be done with it. But what did they do? They said in order for any other Grand Lodge under the Prince Hall body to be recognized, they needed the Grand Lodge of State to sign off on it. That's a fact. You can call in, we can have a decent conversation about it. But you know as well as I know, that's what happened. That's just the fact of the matter. It's not a blanket recognition. It is not. Some Grand Lodges under the Prince Hall affiliation cannot go to England and visit. Period. Some brothers can go. But that's only because the Grand Lodge of State recognizes them. If the Grand Lodge of State doesn't recognize them, they don't go. But see, here's the kicker. The UGLE has stated that they are just a Grand Lodge like everybody else. They stated that. But if you're just a Grand Lodge like everybody else, why would you put that on the state Grand Lodge to say, look, the only way we'll recognize Prince Hall Grand Lodge is that if you do. But you're supposed to be sovereign. Sovereign means that I'm equal to. That's what sovereignty means. I'm equal to. When I walk in a room, I'm equal. I'm not less than. And to say anything else different, you'll be lying. That's what sovereignty means. Now, there's only one sovereign Grand Lodge that I know right now, and that's the Grand Lodge of Louisiana, where the Dean of Grand Master is serving, and that is Randolph Slaughter or Ralph Slaughter. Period. Bar none. And I say that because of the way the man moves. He's not asking you for anything. He's just doing it. And that's what you call sovereignty. Some call it a dictator. You know, you can call it what you like, but that's what it is. Now, we can go back and forth over different issues and things like that, but I'm going to tell you this. Without the National Grand Lodge, there would be no other Masons. Once Prince Hall brothers, once them 14 did what they did, and then the development of the National Grand Lodge that solidified Black Masons. Yes, I said Black Mason. It didn't solidify nobody else but Black Mason. So stop lying and telling people there's no color in Freemasonry. There is. Okay? So once that body solidified Black Masonry, they wrote a letter to the Grand Lodge of England. saying that, look, we're done. That was the second letter. They wrote two, but the second letter said, look, we're done. We're going to do what we want to do. And when you did that, that lodge number 459 is no longer on the roll of the United Grand Lodge of England because you separated from them. You let it be known in that letter, I am doing what I'm doing. That's what the National said. And with that being said, about the National Grand Lodge lasted about 10, 15, something like that, 20 years, somewhere in there. Okay. Now, in the process of them lasting that long, they chartered. The National Grand Lodge chartered Grand Lodges under what we know as PHA today. Now, if you're bold enough, why don't you turn those charters back into the National Grand Lodge? Since you're sovereign, turn those charters back in. Give them back to the same body that created that Grand Lodge. Give it back. Because most people who have looked at the history of Grand Lodges know that the National Compact of Grand Lodges, which they lied about, talking about they closed down, they never shut down. Yeah, they was weak. They had only about maybe 20 Grand Lodges. Yeah, they was weak, but they never closed the doors. They have a complete history of themselves. So you must remember, my Prince Hall brothers, it wasn't until 1944 in Arkansas that you yourselves came together and said, look, we have an issue. Some of you still hold on to the ancient, free, and accepted banner. You need to change that. And we're asking those of you who are here for this Congress or for this Conference of Grand Masters to change the banner on your name from ancient, free, and accepted to free and accepted. This was in 1944. Arkansas. Some did, some didn't. The Grand Lodge of Alabama, before it was free and accepted, it was ancient, free, and accepted. The Grand Lodge of Tennessee can be said the same thing. Okay? So when we get into these debates about going back and forth about regularities and who, the history is shitty on all sides, on all fronts. Okay? Don't make it seem like your history is better than anybody else when it's just as shaky. The foundation was shaky. It may be strong now, but there's a fractured history. It is not a complete history. It's fractured because we wasn't there. We're only writing down from the information that we have gotten that was left. Okay? That's across the board. That's including international, modern, free, ancient, free, and accepted, Scottish Rite, whatever you want to call it. We who are Masons, and some, like I said, some don't consider me to be Mason. So if you don't, that's on you. But we who are Masons are going to have to begin, Black Masons, to show more respect towards the next man. But what happens is you get caught up in your better than you. Not all. Let me clear. I'm not talking about all Prince Hall Masons. Let's have some clarity on that. I'm just talking about you who sit in these different groups, and then when somebody come at you, you want to call them outside their name because now you feel that you got to be on the defense. That's how you feel right now. But I'm letting you know, for those of you who are not Masons, those of you who are not Eastern Stars, those of you who are, is that Freemasonry can be so beautiful. It can be that. It can also be so ugly. It can be that. But what I'm letting you know today is that in the construct of Freemasonry, in the love of Freemasonry, the brotherhood of Freemasonry, this is where you go and this is where you find the essence of Freemasonry, because it's there. But there's so much BS out there till it gets lost. I'll tell you this. something is going to happen here in May. And I don't know if it's ever happened before, but it's going to happen around May 15th, May 13th. And I'm going to post it. And what this may cause a stir. It may cause a stir. There's only one person in this chat room today that knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I seen his name earlier. He's the only someone that knows what I'm talking about because I talked to him last night. So, you know, Masonry is beautiful if you're willing to respect the next person. But when you're not willing to do that, and you see a brother with the pendant on or a lap pin on, and you know that he's a Mason according to what he has on, but you don't try him. But just because he says he's part of a different jurisdiction, oh, I can't talk to you? Just because a sister's a part of a different jurisdiction, oh, I can't talk to you? Man, y'all sound like some wretched ends. Because it just doesn't make sense. I'm going to share this with you. So, a lot of people are on Randolph Slaughter page. He has a Facebook page. It's called the United Supreme Council. And he's the administrator, and he posts. He doesn't say much. He just posts different things, which is great. So I posted on that page. And I'm going to tell you what I said on his page. I posted last night on his page. And some of you may be on his page. Okay? Some of you may just be on his page. But I'm going to tell you what I said last night on his page. Hold on just a second. I'm going to pull it up. Let's see. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're doing well. Let's see. Dang, it ain't coming up. I know. Okay, let me see. So last night, when I was on his page, that's not the one. Last night when I was on his page, I put on there greetings and, you know, the mere fact of what he was doing. And someone posted, you need to let people know who you are. And I said, fine. My name is Tony Hawkins. I'm a past Grand Master of the Most Wishful Grand Lodge, John G. Jones Grand Lodge of California, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Masons. That's what I posted on there. And then I had a back and forth with this young man. Never met him before in my life. And I'm like thinking to myself, why are you coming at me like that? Once I said I was a member of John G. Jones, oh, he paused. I have to pause. I'm like, dude, you have to pause because I said I was part of a John G. Jones Grand Lodge of California, Ancient, Free, and Accepted Mason. The man is dead. He's been dead since 1914, but you got to pause. Do you pause for white Grand Lodges and white Masons when they say that they're part of the Grand Lodge estate? Do you say you have to pause? And people wonder, well, Brother Hawkins, you shouldn't be bringing in color into Freemasonry. Color is all up in it. Color was in it from the beginning because they didn't want you to be Masons. They didn't want you to be Eastern Stars. And now that you're part, now that you're in it, now well, you shouldn't see color. What? No, it ain't that simple for me. It doesn't go like that for me. I'm not that one. Okay? Now, for you brothers who go and join the Grand Lodge estate, go read their histories. Go read their minutes and see what they said about you as a Negro. Because it's in there. But you feel comfortable, right? You feel like you're at home, right? No, it doesn't get like that for me. I'm not that one to sit idly by and say, okay, great, everything is lovely. Everything is not lovely. You know, my thing would be this. I'm true to me. I'm true to who I am. I'm true to the craft that I practice. I don't care what jurisdiction you in. I don't. Because a brother asked me, well, who do you consider to be clandestine? I don't consider nobody to be clandestine. Now that, you know, if you're practicing the thing we call Freemasonry under a Masonic Grand Lodge, whatever name you want to call it, Boo-Boo the Fool if you want to call it, that's who you practice Masonry under. Other than that, that's none of my business unless we are about to go into mutual recognition with each other. Now, if we're about to go into mutual recognition with each other, then we got to find out, okay, does this, you know, some things, we got to work out some things, you know, and once that is worked out between the bodies, you can say, okay, we have mutual respect. But that's where good sovereignty comes in at. Sovereignty comes into place saying we will have mutual respect, period. There's no if somebody else. There's no if the Grand Lodge of England says anything. When you want mutual respect, it was between two bodies, period. So when you come to me and talk about, oh yeah, I'm sovereign. Okay, let's have that conversation. This is why I say what I say in regards to Prince Hall Grand Lodges not being sovereign. Because there's a third party involved. The third party is the UGLE. If the UGLE tells the Grand Lodges estate, it's a no-go. If the Grand Lodges estate said no, then it's a no-go. You're not their equal. You're not their equal. If you was their equal, once again, you don't need a third party to depend on. So, my thing would be this. To Masons, period, across the board. If you want to get something done, if you, sincerely want to just get into Freemasonry for what it is, do that. But stop allowing your affiliation to separate you. Stop allowing someone else to interfere with what you got going on. If your community or whatever, you want to do some volunteer work or whatever, do it. Wear your shirt proudly. Come together and do the work. Do the work together. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with us working together for the greater good? But you want to pause because I'm from a different jurisdiction. Oh, I'm clandestine because I'm from a different jurisdiction. What I really want to say is not appropriate for YouTube. Man, I wish I can find it from yesterday, but it's not coming back up. So I'll leave that where it's at. And that's just like right now. Let's just be honest. Prince Hall United Supreme Councils have paid Slaughter $270,000. They wrote him 2 checks. They wrote Slaughter 2 checks for $270,000 a piece. They owe him almost $1 million. So we can go back and forth about who doing what, but that's where we shouldn't be. Really. We should be at a point of being able to come to the table, sit down, and have good dialogue. This is 2021. And Black Mason still has not yet gotten it together. I don't care if you split. I don't care if it's 400 Grand Lodges in one state and they all Black. I don't care. All I'm saying is it's 2021. Somewhere along the line, you're going to have to come to the table and talk and say, look, let's do this together and see what happens. But you're too afraid to do anything together. You are. You're scared to death to reach across the aisle to another brother, another Grand Master, another jurisdiction to say, let's work together. You know why you're afraid? You're afraid of because of what the Grand Lodge State is going to say. You're afraid because of what somebody else is going to say. Stop being afraid. I would say this right now. And I'm speaking in regards to my jurisdiction. Hey, bro, thanks, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm speaking in regards to my jurisdiction only right now, because this is what we have done. We have reached across the aisle to those jurisdictions that are here in California. We have done that. We did that because we felt that Masonry is bigger than where we were at. So we reached out to Modern Free International. Okay? We reached out to other ancient, free, and accepted Masons Grand Lodges to build that relationship. I said to build that relationship. I didn't say to go visit. I said to build a relationship. I have brothers who are part of Modern Free right now that if I give a call, I know I can depend on them to do what they say they're going to do. I don't know about you, but that's building relationships, masonically speaking. Everything doesn't have to be on visitation. It doesn't. It has to be on mutual respect for the Grand Lodge. And I would say it has to be on mutual respect for the individuals who's part of these various jurisdictions. When are we going to get there? It's 2021. What are we waiting on? 2041? Are you that afraid? You're that terrified? My brother told me that I gave him a shout out one time. He was a member of Prince Hall, and they damn near wanted to kill him because I gave him a shout out. That didn't make any sense. Why would you want to come at a brother like that? Because he knows someone else. Oh, you talking Masonry to him? What? It's called building a relationship, man. All I'm saying is that somewhere along the line, somebody's got to wake up and realize there's a game being played. You're being shuffled around. Somebody's playing chess with you, and you have no clue about it. And that's a fact. So when you sit back and you look at this picture called the Freemasonry Eastern Stars and how beautiful it can be, we need to put the beauty in it. Isn't that one of the pillars? Beauty? Where's it at? That's all I'm saying. That's my whole thing is that people sit behind keyboards in these groups. You're all gangster until you meet somebody face to face. And then it switches up. You're not as gangster no more. It's okay. Yeah, Charles, we did. You know. So when you go through these processes to become a Mason in an Eastern Star, you know, people, it's a beautiful thing. Do it. If you're looking for a fraternal home and I can help you find it, I don't care if it is with Prince Hall. I'll tell you to go there. I don't care if it's with International. I'll tell you to go there too. See, that's me. I don't what you call masonically gang bang. Because some of you like that stuff. Some of you like the masonically gang bang. I'm from this set. I'm from that set. Be who you say you're going to be. Brother Tony. Yeah, oh, okay. I was reading that again. Be legitimate who you say you're going to be. If I'm going to be a brother to you, I'm going to be a brother to you. If I'm going to be a sister to you, I'm going to be a sister to you. Be legitimate who you say you're going to be. And stop allowing other people to dictate your thoughts and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Just because we're in different jurisdictions don't mean we can't have conversation. It doesn't have to be about Masons and Eastern Stars, but we can have a decent conversation about life issues. You know, so as we build relationships within the fraternal order and outside of the fraternal order, we got to look, we got to look beyond that. And we hadn't gotten there yet because we're just afraid. I've learned so much talking to various brothers from various jurisdictions. Talking to a brother the other day in regards to the Supreme Council of Louisiana and how old it is and how it got to be and what happened to it and how the what they call the Mother Supreme Council tried to kill it, and it still survives today. It is one of the oldest Supreme Councils in the United States. It's the Supreme Council of Louisiana. They're the only one that practices a true Scottish rite. It wasn't like I always knew that. But most organizations would say that they're clandestine because they practice a true Scottish rite. They don't practice European type of Scottish rite. They go from 1 to 33. And if I'm not mistaken, the Supreme Council organizes Grand Lodges and lodges, if I'm not mistaken. And if anybody is on here from the Supreme Council of Louisiana, you can correct me. You can call in if you want to. Greetings, everybody who's coming on. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. And hopefully, as always, you'll be able to get something from out of this as I share information. But what I really wanted to share with you was the fact that I know that there's various people on Ralph Slaughter's United Supreme Council page who would like to say something, but they're afraid to say something. And on Ralph Slaughter's page, it's open. You can find his page. It's an open page. You know? So, yeah, I found his page and I posted on it. I even asked him if he was willing to come on the show. Let me know. I would like to know and hear from the Dean of Grand Masters. Yeah, I call him the Dean of Grand Master because he's the longest serving Grand Lodge of the most wishful Prince Hall body, affiliated body. If I'm not mistaken, he was elected Grand Master back in the 90s, like 95. And he's still Grand Master. If there's a reason he's still Grand Master. Oh, well, people are afraid to run against him. No, I don't think so. I think that Ralph Slaughter has a aura about himself. I've never met him before. I think that he has an aura about himself. I think maybe his money is long. I'm just telling you from what I think. And I've never met him before. But I think his money is long. I think he has an aura about himself. I think when he steps in the room, people be like, oh, shit. Yeah, he's that guy. That's why people won't run against him, because he's that guy. So people may feel afraid. They may feel a certain way. And there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. You just need to grow some balls. If you think you can do better than him, run against him. But until then, sit back and watch the Dean of Grandmasters do his thing. Smart man. You know, from what I've read and from what I picked up here and there, somebody told me, David R. Let me see. I'm going to get this name down right. Because here's what I know. Here's what I know. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to share this with you. Because this will be happening soon. This is going to be happening. Okay? Attachment. It's the information necessary for making arrangement to attend the creation and installment and ceremonies on May 22nd, 2021, Oklahoma City. This is from Slaughter. I'm going to read you more. For more information, please contact the Deputy Secretary of the Holy Empire, Convention Director, Sovereign Grand Inspector General Nicholas Pele. Availability is going fast. Save your place on the right side of history. This is May 21st in Oklahoma. They going there to open up a new Grand Lodge. I haven't seen a letter where Slaughter said, no, we will not be going. I've rescinded that. And if he has, that's of his own free will and accord. That's up to him. But it doesn't seem that way. It seems to me that he's going in not only as a Grand Master, but a most puissant, and he's organizing a new Grand Lodge. Some people like to say, well, the United Supreme Council and the Grand Lodge are two separate bodies. Yeah, okay, all right. It is. It is. However, on the flip side of that, I'm watching right now in how they got it worded. Okay? They can use the 1-800 number for Hilton. The number to use code is the United Supreme Council. It's going in to Oklahoma to open up another Grand Lodge. Until I see a letter where Slaughter said he's rescinded and he won't be doing it for whatever reason and it's his, then I'm rolling with what I got in front of me. Okay? It's just what it is. Because I think that a lot of us are just afraid to do what we know what is right. Period. So I'm going to read you this. I'm going to read you this letter. Prince Hall Grand Lodge, jurisdiction of Oklahoma. From the most wishful Randall W. David, Grand Master. Okay? It says, Dear Grand Master Slaughter, this is April the 28th, 2021. Here's what it says. In response to the overwhelming number of inquiries and concerning for both Louisiana and Oklahoma membership, to my provision and actions dated 9th of April 2021, the several-fraternal relationship between our jurisdiction, I, the most wishful Randall W. David, Grand Master, the most wishful Prince Hall Grand Lodge, free and accepted Mason of Oklahoma, for the jurisdiction, rescind the action immediately. Yeah, he put a letter out there. He said, Slaughter, you ain't coming here. You ain't coming in my state. And then he rescinded the letter because Slaughter said, I'm coming in, and ain't a damn thing you can do about it. And for those members of the Oklahoma Grand Lodge who would like to be part of this jurisdiction, you're welcome to join us. That's a fact. That letter is out there all over the internet. This is not no big secret. And check this one out. This one is dated. Let me make sure I get the right date on this one. This is from Randolph Slaughter. He says, "Know ye I, the Randolph Slaughter, the most worshipful Grand Master, Prince, all free and accepting Masons, Louisiana, having received a petition from to form a constituted number of brothers who have been properly vouched for Master Masons in good standing, sitting that having honor and prosperity of the craft and heart, they want to establish a new lodge in the state of Oklahoma." That's from Randolph Slaughter. His letter goes on to state, this is a dispensation of empowerment. He even sent them a dispensation. You know, he even sent them a dispensation. So we can say whatever we want to say. If we're ever to build and be better than where we're at, you have to develop relationships across the board and include brothers who you necessarily wouldn't care about. I'm not saying everybody who claim to be a Mason is your brother. I didn't say that. I'm saying jurisdictional wise. A person going to show you who they are in the long run. If a thief is a thief and he come into your house, pretty soon he going to take something out of there that he see that he wants. And you're going to find out that he's a thief. A liar, pretty soon. They're your friend, pretty soon you're going to find them lying to you often. Okay? So a person is going to show you who they are pretty soon in that relationship that you develop with them. And when you find out who they are, then you can cut them loose because they showed you who they are. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it at all. Black Sunday, Black Sun, what's up? Okay, Black Sun, you asked me the question. When I joined Masonry, did I know that there was a difference in Masonry, PHA, and John G. Jones? I did. My first inquiry in regards to Freemasonry was in 80, I came out here in 86, was in 85, okay? 1985. I was in Canton, Mississippi. I was talking to a brother who was a member of Prince Hall Grand Lodge, Stringer, as a matter of fact. And I knew that there was another Prince Hall Grand Lodge in the state of Mississippi. So when I left and I came to California, I didn't put in no application, nothing like that. I had inquiries. I wasn't for sure if I was going to move or stay. But when I came to California, the gentleman I was working with was a member of the Ancient Free and Accepting Masons. And I joined his lodge. After that, I moved to another lodge because I didn't like what was happening there. It wasn't for me. I moved to another lodge within several months. And I was only at that time an inter-apprentice. So I left that lodge and I moved to another lodge, and come to find out that Willie F. Pope, who was the senior warden of Hosea Lodge number 7, the same lodge I'm in now, that lodge, his son-in-law was in that. Was it his son-in-law or his best friend? I want to say son-in-law for some reason, but I don't remember Brother Pope having any daughters. But anyway, he told me he knows about that lodge. He knew about the lodge. And what I learned from that is that they didn't call them clandestine. They didn't call them anything. They said, we know about that lodge. Those are some of them brothers are good brothers. And we talk with them. We fellowship with them. We have a great time with them. He didn't say, oh, well, you're coming from a clandestine lodge. He didn't say that. They said, you're an apprentice? I said, yes, I am. They tried me on an apprentice. I got an application. I filled it out. And then I moved on. But a sister introduced me to Brother Pope, Willie F. Pope. A sister introduced me to him. But what I'm saying tonight is that, yes, although I may have known the difference, okay, and you got to remember, they didn't have internet back then. But as things has progressed, Masonry has become smaller, okay? And Facebook has made it even smaller with these various groups. So you have this interaction. So you're finding out that brothers from the various jurisdictions, whatever they may be, they having this going back and forth over who's legitimate and who's not, who's recognized, who's not. And for me, I'm trying to figure out, where's all of this coming from? Where's all of this hostility that we have comes from? Now we have this hostility toward each other, but we don't have it against nobody else. So when I talk to Black Masons, I'm talking about where does this hostility comes from that we have when we meet each other? And then when you meet another white Mason, you don't have the same hostility. You don't try him. You don't run up on him. What's that? You don't do that. Somebody needs to kind of like talk to me on that, because I don't know. I don't know where the hostility comes from when we're dealing with each other. I remember so in these various groups, in these various groups that I'm in, I don't back down, because I believe Masonry. I believe in Masonry. I love the teachings of Masonry. So I'm not going to back down because we disagree. We can agree to disagree. I'm not going to sit idly by and not say something when I know. No, I'm not. That's not me. I'm not that guy. What I try to do is give the best information I can. You can either accept it, go do your own research, find out for yourself. That's me. If I'm wrong, I don't mind admitting, and you know what? Yeah, I was wrong. I'm good. Next topic, next discussion. Hey, son, if you're not busy, shoot on through. But I'm gonna call you back in about 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
All right. That was my son. Let me tell you this before I get off track here. If you have kids, a family, when that phone rings, I don't care what you're doing. Talk to your kids. I got grown kids, and whatever I'm doing, if I can answer that phone and hear the voice of my son or my daughter or my wife or anybody that I associate with, I'm answering the phone, period. Because you don't know what tomorrow holds. You may know who holds it, but you don't know what it holds. So anytime that phone rings and it's somebody that I know and I respect and I love, I'm answering the phone, period. Because the only thing you have that's free that you can give somebody that's worth a lot is your time. And so I appreciate all of you who are in this chat. I really do. Because what happens is that people see you on Facebook and they think that's really who you are. That's not really who you are. Facebook is a damn matrix. You want to get to know someone, call them on the phone, have a decent conversation with them. Get off of Facebook and all the other stuff. Because people put stuff out there just to put, I do it. Shit, let's just be honest. I'm in these groups, I just throw some stuff out there. And if a hit, like my mom said, a hit dog will holler. So look, where we at? Vincent, what's going on, brother Vincent? Hey man, look, I'm going to say this. We to the brothers of the craft, I'm getting ready with some of the other brothers. We're getting ready to drive across country. We want to do something that's unique. We want to do something where we're going to have a lot of fun. So quite a few of us are going to drive across country this summer and have a ball at it. So we may be coming to a state near you. You just never know. And this is true. We are. And for those of you who don't know, coming up at the end of May, we're going to be in Vegas May 27th, 28th, and 29th. We're going to Vegas to sell to do a raising in the desert. We have brothers from various jurisdictions who will be joining us on this occasion, and I'm looking forward to it. A raising in the desert. We're going to start this raising about 3 o'clock in the morning, and we should get through about 12. So I'm looking forward to it. I believe it's something that, you know, it will really benefit the brothers as they go through their degree work. I really think it would benefit them. You know, that's my personal opinion. As we continue this conversation in regards to Prince Hall in the recognition part, let me make sure I say this right. I don't want to screw this up real quick. You know, man, I've been seeing a lot. So, you know, as we continue talking in regards to PHA Grand Lodges not being a sovereign body, and I show you that if the Grand Lodges of state do not give the okay, the Grand Lodge of England would not recognize PHA. That's not right. That's not how it should be done. The Grand Lodge, the United Grand Lodge of England, is a sovereign Grand Lodge. They can recognize whoever they want to, when they want to. But they put a stipulation on the mere fact that you need the Grand Lodge of state okay in order to be recognized. To me, that's a bunch of bullshit. Pardon me, but it is. There should be no stipulations in that. That's my opinion. But on top of that, I believe so much more plays a part in that. You know, maybe I'm not privy to it. But when you're talking about Masonic recognition and sovereignty, there should be no third party in that. That should be on equal grounds. And I don't think that the Grand Lodges of State and Prince Hall are equal. They're not. It may sound good. Some may say that they are. It may look good, but you're not equal. If you need someone else of a third party to give the okay, you're not equal. You're not. It's just like someone who wants to marry my daughter. They come to me to get permission to marry my daughter. Period. Now, my daughter's her own person. I can honestly say that because she went and got married and said, "Daddy, I'm married." I'm like, "Oh, okay." She grown. She did what she wanted to do. She didn't need my permission. That's the difference. No, it was John T. Hilton started all the splits in the national. No, tell her I'm going to disagree with you. It wasn't Hilton that started the split. It was Hilton who wrote the letter to the United Grand Lodge of England, telling them, "Look, we want to have the Royal Arch degree." As a matter of fact, I have that letter. I have the letter. What he wanted was them to have recognition and get the Royal Arch degree. And they was like, "Oh, no, that's not how it works." And he was like, "Well, you know what? We don't need you anyway." And he separated the whole thing. He was like, "It's a wrap, baby. We sovereign and we are independent." That's what he did. Now, I have the letter that was written to the Grand Lodge of England in regards to with the Hilton. Was it Hilton? Yeah, John T. Hilton. I have the letter. And I don't put that on him. I put that on Black Masons trying to be like white Masons. And you're going to say, "Well, why is that?" Because at that time, the national was cool. The National Grand Lodge was a thing. But when other black Grand Lodges seen that the state Grand Lodges, well, we sovereign, we do how we want to do. What's that is all about? Now you want to leave the national to call yourself sovereign. And then, in like manner, although the national has what you call a sovereign grand master or a national grand master, you still have to turn around, you organize yourselves into the conference of grand masters or council of grand masters. You still organize that way. And you use them as a body that gives advice. Right? I mean, am I right? Am I wrong? You can say, no, that's not how it's used. You can call in and say that. Even the Prince Hall dropped the ancient to become free and accept the Mason. They are still ancient. They was just practicing the three old ancient York. Brother Taylor, you got me cracking up, bro. Sovereign only means you share the state together. No, it doesn't. I disagree with you on that one, Randolph Taylor. Sovereign only means you share the state together. One Grand Lodge isn't only the only thing that is the other doing its own thing. If two Grand Lodges are sovereign, they don't need the UGLE to say, well, if you accept them, then I will accept them. It's just like somebody saying, well, Randolph, you and Tony are friends, and if Tony don't accept you as a friend, then I can accept you as a friend. That's bullshit. No. I accept who I want to accept as a friend. And nobody else can tell me anything different. If I'm truly your friend, I'm truly your friend. I don't need someone else to come in and say, well, because you are friends with him, Tony, I can't be friends with you. That's not my problem. And then to read what you wrote, that's not my problem. It is up to the state Grand Lodge to recognize another Prince Hall Grand Lodge before the UGLE will recognize them. And it doesn't need to be that way. No. You told me you was a sovereign body. Well, if you're so sovereign, then you can recognize whoever you want to, when you want to. But that doesn't happen at all. It doesn't happen. And that's the thing that gets me. That's the thing that gets me. It shouldn't have to be that way. What we need to understand is that when you develop relationships with various brothers from across various jurisdictions, your Masonic reach grows. Hear what I say. When you develop Masonic relationships with other brothers of the craft and sisters of the order, your Masonic circle grows, your reach grows. Your reach is beyond the reach of your Grand Lodge. But when you are so constructed on the mere fact that my Grand Lodge, and you don't develop relationships with other brothers outside of your jurisdiction, you stay right there in that damn corner and be quiet. That's what you need to do. Stay right there in that corner and be quiet. Because you're not able to travel. You're not. Because what you've done is you have limited yourself to where you're at. They're just like most people who live in what we call the hoods, who never go outside. They never go out. They never go 20 miles outside of their home, of their space. That is a statistic. That is a proven statistic. Most people who live in what we call the hoods and the projects never go 20 miles outside of the projects. They don't go no farther than 20 miles. That's it. There's so much more outside of 20 miles to do than you would ever believe. PHA Grand Lodges actually requested recognition from the UGLE. After they have been accepted by the Grand Lodge of State, then they can petition, they can ask for recognition from the UGLE. That's a fact, Brother Willie Green, or Willie Green, period. No brother on it. That's a fact. So you're right, they can, but only after the state Grand Lodges accept them. That's how that's going to go. So we can say we can chop that up however we want to chop it up, but that's how it goes. Oh, my apologies. Only those Grand Lodges who have been accepted by the Grand Lodges of State has petitioned the UGLE for recognition. My apologies, Willie Green. Sincere apology. No, really, no pun intended. Sincere apology. I'm just reading the chat right now. You met, for real? You met a man who never crossed the river in St. Louis? Oh my God. Jeez. And I'm not even from St. Louis, but I know the difference between that river really divides that city. Wow. That's it. Man, that says a lot. I'm just reading the chat. Black Sun says, I think greed and power hungry guys at the top don't want to unite. Black Sun, I'm going to say this. For me, I'm not looking to unite. I'm not looking to unite. I'm not looking to unite, put everybody up under one umbrella. I'm not looking for everybody to be up under one umbrella. I am not. What I'm looking for is unity. There's a difference between being united and having unity. See, within unity, you can agree to disagree, but yet you will forge ahead in unity. But when you're trying to unite, you're going to need one single head. And it's not going to always be pretty. It's not. But with unity, we can agree to disagree within unity as long as we're forging ahead. That's the difference to me. That's the difference between being united and having unity. I prefer unity. I prefer to stay on code. I prefer to say, look, that's my brother. That's my sister. Even though we can agree to disagree, you're still my brother. You're still my sister. Masonically and culturally. That's me. But some can't do that. They're too hell-bent on trying to put you in a box. They are. Just like with the Philex Society. That whole group, that whole Philex Society is a bunch of bull. It really is. Like I said before, in regards to this Philex Society. How is it you can have all of these black Grand Lodges on that page and you call them clandestine, but you don't have not one white, Hispanic, Asian, Mexican, whatever you want to call it, Latino Grand Lodge on there? Philex Society. You're full of stuff. And I wrote you a letter saying that I will fly where you at and we can have this conversation. I wrote a letter to the Philex Society. I emailed them. Hey, you know what? My name is Tony Hawkins, blah, blah, blah. Let's have this conversation. They haven't responded yet. Corson, can you elaborate on why you feel that PHA are not sovereign? I already did that. I've already elaborated on it, LaTroy. And they're not. And I gave my reason why when I came on. John Teller, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely right. UGLE should be petitioning PHA to be recognized. You're absolutely correct. Let me tell you why. PHA claimed to have the oldest document from the Premier or the United Grand Lodge of England. That's your claim. And you say it's in a vault. And if this is true, you should be on equal footings with any state Grand Lodge. And your Grand Lodge, which is the Grand Lodge of Alaska, is older than the white Grand Lodge in Alaska. Why should you petition them for recognition? They should be petitioning you for recognition. Now I understand that it says that, you know, the younger Grand Lodge of state should petition the oldest Grand Lodge. But let's be real. If we're on equal footings and we both are sovereign bodies, and although you may be the older Grand Lodge and I may be the younger Grand Lodge, when I petition you, we're on equal footings now. We are. Although you may be the older Grand Lodge, we're on equal footings now. You can accept that or let it alone. No, pimp method. I'm done writing them. See, once I reach out to you and you don't respond, I'm not begging or asking you for anything. I reached out to you. It's a wrap. It's over. You can respond to the first letter, but other than that, it's cool. It's done. I did my part. My part was to reach out and say, look, you know what? I would like to have a conversation with you in regards to the Phallic Society and what it's really all about. Are you just dumping on most Masonic organizations? Are you just dumping on them? Have you even had a conversation with any of those Masonic bodies that you have on that page? And if you tell me you haven't, then you're full of that stuff. If you tell me you have, then I'd like to know more and have a more dialogue with you in regards to what was said and how did it go. That's me. So once I've reached out to you and you don't respond, it's a wrap. Whatever. You know, ain't nobody gonna beg you to respond. Ain't nobody. I'll wait. But other than that, it's a wrap. Okay, so the Most Wishful Prince Hall Grand Lodge can sit in any meeting with the UGLE. That's only because the Most Wishful Prince Hall Grand Lodge has mutual recognition with the Grand Lodge of State. If the Grand Lodge of State of New York pull recognition from Prince Hall Grand Lodge, you will no longer have recognition with the UGLE. So it's great that you feel that you can go and sit in any meeting with the UGLE. It's great. But if the Grand Lodge of State pulls recognition, it's a wrap. It's over. You don't have that privilege no more. It's done. I don't know if anybody has read the Prince Hall Charter or not, but it's supposed to be partially starched or burnt, so I could not tell you. Only thing I agree with is PHA Grand Lodge is always looking to be accepted by the Grand Lodge of State. Well, if that's the only thing you agree with, then you know there's an issue. There's an issue. Here, let's be honest with each other. Here you have 200 years or more, are saying that you who are Prince Hall Masons, this is what they said. You who are Prince Hall Masons, you who are Black Masons, the hell with you. In so many words. This is what they said for 200 years. And then the persistence of Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Massachusetts and having open communications with the Grand Lodge of England finally got a response and asking them for mutual recognition. And they said, yes, because of who you are, whatever they did, however it went down, we will recognize the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts only. For the rest of you who are PHA Grand Lodges of State, you need to have recognition from the Grand Lodge of State before we even have communications with you. Now, how much sense does that make? Why would you want to be recognized by a body that doesn't want you to participate in Freemasonry? I have no clue. I have no clue of to answer that. Corey, is that Corey? No, that's not Corey. Brother Teller, I have no clue. What's the point in getting recognized by the UGLE if you're sovereign? Okay, Calvin Johnson, the reason most Grand Lodges feel it's necessary to have the green light from Prince Hall Grand Lodge is because it's just like having a damn Oscar. It's just like having an Oscar. Look at me. I'm recognized by the Grand Lodge of England, the oldest Grand Lodge. They're 300 years old, and they recognize me as a Mason. So it's just like having an Oscar. Okay? It's just like having an Oscar to have that recognition from them. Well, I want to say something so bad, but I'm working, and you know what I do for a living. Trevon, it's all right, bro. Trevon, it's okay. Trevon, I can actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I was going to actually give you a call and let you talk, but I'm not going to do that. And if you're working, go and do your thing. Being a Prince Hall Mason, you can only travel to Grand Lodges within who you have recognition. If you don't have recognition with the 3 premier Grand Lodges, you can't travel to them. England, Ireland. Hey, Grandmaster.
Hey,
Let me give you a call back. All right, thanks. That's not true. Lee Hall, you said being my apologies. My apologies, because I don't believe this is me from what I know. The 3 premier Grand Lodges, England, Ireland, and there's one more. So they don't recognize France anymore. They recognize the National Grand Lodge of France, but they don't recognize the original Grand Lodge of France. But I know what you're saying. My apologies on that. So Green, I'm going to say this again. William Green, you said the UGLE can't stop anything that PHA Grand Lodges. Brother Goodman,
what's going on?
I'm on the show right now. You calling in, or I can call you back?
Oh, just go ahead and call me back.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks. So it says, William Green said the UGLE can't stop anything PHA Grand Lodge do. It has no say-so. It has plenty of say-so. in your business. It does. Because like I said for the fourth time, if the Grand Lodge Estate pulls recognition from PHA, Grand Lodge Estate, you have no more communications with the UGLE. You don't. You'll have communications within your own Masonic affiliation, but that's about it. You won't have Masonic relationship with nobody else other than that, unless you have foreign relationships with other Grand Lodges outside of the UGLE. So I wonder. This is what I wonder, brother. Travian, when he has friends who are a member of the Grand Lodge of England, and they invited him out for fellowship, and he went. He's gone twice. And he's a member of the Supreme Council of New York. He has friends who are a member of the Grand Lodge of England, and he's gone twice to England to fellowship. Oh, the question is, did he visit their lodge? No, he went to fellowship. See, here's the thing. Most of you believe that visiting lodges is the thing to do. No, it's not. Visiting lodges is not the thing to do. Developing relationships is the thing to do. See, Trevon has developed a relationship with quite a few members of the Grand Lodge of England. So he's not limited just to say, well, I want to go here in fellowship, or do I want to go? He can tell you right now that he can get on the phone and call a brother from the Grand Lodge of England and say, look, I'm traveling back over. Are you going to be busy? Can we, he can do that. I don't know too many other Black Masons that can do that. Trevon can do that. He's showed me the pictures and had conversations. I've seen it for myself. He can actually do that. Now, how many other Prince Hall brothers or anybody else, ancient free, modern free, can pick up the phone, call over there and say, look, brother such and such, I'm coming to England. What's your schedule like? Is it possible we can hang out, blah, blah, blah. You have numbers like that. See, he has a reach. He's developed a relationship with brothers beyond his own jurisdiction and affiliation. That's what Masonry is all about. But most of you miss that because you're too busy doing other stuff. Trevon be having me rolling though. I ain't gonna lie. Another Grand Lodge recognition is not the solution of recalling, mind you, but declaration of faith in the legitimacy of the Grand Lodge. How do you know the UGLA sent out any communication to all PHA Grand Lodges of mutual respect, mutual recognition? Well, here's what I do know. Because I have developed friendships, relationships with quite a few Prince Hall brothers. Okay, and I'm not just talking about, well, you can just call me. I'm talking about a serious relationship, friendship wise. And I can say this: the UGLE has never sent out a blanket wide recognition to Prince Hall. Their status has always been based upon the mere fact that they recognize the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts, period. That's their relationship. The next thing they did was said this: when the Grand Lodges of State decide to recognize Prince Hall Grand Lodge of State, we will do the same. So there's no blanket Masonic recognition. Tony, if visitation was so important, then what about the Grand Lodge of Florida and none of the Grand Lodge in the Grand Lodge of Tennessee both recognize PHA Grand Lodge. Those states, but no visitation. So, all right. So that's also including Texas, if I'm not mistaken. But right now we're talking about Florida and Tennessee. So Florida and Tennessee has a mutual, they recognize each other. But here's the kicker. There's no visitation within their recognition. What's that all about? As Brother Aries just pointed out, look, we have mutual, we have it on paperwork. We recognize each other, but you can't come visit. Man, please. No. No. You know why they have it like that? To be honest, they have it like that because they don't see you as their equal. Period. If I don't see you as my equal and I write out, okay, this is how smart they were. The grand, and then you accepted it. Oh, so this is how smart they was. They wrote out they wrote out their recognition paperwork was that we will recognize you, but you can't come visit. And the grandmasters accepted that of their own. And look, I'm not saying they was hook winked. I'm not saying none of that because they knew exactly what they was doing. They had been working on trying to have recognition with the Grand Lodges of State for so long until when the Grand Lodges of State said, look, we will do this. They said, okay, fine. Okay. If this is how we have to go to have that conversation later on, we will accept this as step one. Step one says that we will have mutual recognition with you, but you have no visitation. Step two may come along in the next 5 or 6 years and say, look, we've been having this mutual recognition with each other, but we have no visitation. New Grandmaster may say, okay, you know what? Let's have mutual, let's keep that in place. Now we're going to add, let's have visitation. Well, if that's what you like, and that's what you're looking for, and that's where you're going, do it. I ain't mad at you. If that's what you want and that's where you're going, do it. I ain't mad. I'm happy for you because that's what you want to do, right? That's where you're trying to go. So go, have fun, do it for the betterment of your organization, your jurisdiction. If it's the goal of your jurisdiction is to have a relationship with the Grand Lodge of State, I'm saying by all means, do it. If that's your goal. And when they offer you these restrictions on having a relationship, and you think that's a step towards something bigger and better, accept it and go on with it. That's your business. Do it. That is unusual process with PHA and them. Show me a recognition document between Grand Lodge of State and any other body where visitation isn't from the start. They doing it only with people. You know what, Brother Brock, Brother Aries, you probably right. However, I believe that the Grand Masters who agree to that, they're looking long term. They're figuring, you know what, in another 5 or 6 years, we'll be able to sit and lodge together. So we're going to accept this. If they didn't believe that, then they may have not accepted the Grand Lodge of State recommendation or being recognized. But they're looking long term. They're figuring, well, in the next 5, 10, 15 years, we'll be able to sit in a lodge. How do you know PHA don't want visitation also? You know, that's a good question, Willie Green. Good question. But I beg the difference. They want visitation. They want it. You're right. There's only one Grandmaster out of Prince Hall Grand Lodge affiliation that I know that said They don't give a damn. And that was the Grand Master out of Arkansas. He said it. He said that. He said, I don't give a damn if they recognize me or not. Period. He said that. And that's the Grand Master of PHA out of Arkansas. This is my first live show of yours. I watch your videos daily as a researcher in the Brotherhood, an organization. Your videos reawaken my interest, but the regular versus irregular debate makes me pause. You should pause. You should. You should pause and say, look, how do I want to proceed? That's what you should say. How do I want to proceed as a Mason? And if the irregular versus regular debate causes you to pause, you know what? You are that person who can join any other fraternal orders that you want, Masonic organization, and build that relationship. You are that guy. So I would tell you, please do join the Masonic order. Be it Prince Hall, Modern Free, do it. Because it's people like you, individuals like you, who come into Freemasonry who's going to change it. It's individuals like you who are going to set the standards, say, look, we should be farther along than where we're at. It's going to be individuals like you. So please, find a Masonic home. Have fun with Masonry. Enjoy it. It's beautiful, man. It is. It's, when you develop the relationships, it's awesome. Thus, the Grand Lodges state, it will recognize that it's accepted as equal, regular, legitimate Freemasons, Grand Lodge of foreign countries X, while the Grand Lodge of State B is not satisfied. That, okay. Okay, David S., you are incorrect, Tony. What am I incorrect about? And if you can tell me I'm incorrect and show me where I'm wrong, okay, I will accept that. David S., I will. Louisiana said no to the recognition request. Okay, that's slaughter for you. Excuse me, sir, what is a PHA Grand Lodge? Prince Hall Affiliation Grand Lodge of State. That's what they are. PHA stands for Prince Hall Affiliation Grand Lodge. Saying it's not against PHA. We are saying PHA is just as equal as they are. That should be all or nothing. Now, if PHA don't want visitation, then that's what the point. So then what's the point? Yeah, it should be all or nothing. Absolutely all or nothing. Absolutely. Absolutely. The state asks for recognition as well to Prince Hall. Okay. I'm just reading now some of the things that are in the chat. I'm just trying to catch up with it. In a few cases, it was PHA Grand Lodge that requested no visitation in the early stages. Which Grand Lodge? When you say it was PHA Grand Lodge, was it the one in Tennessee? Was it the one in Florida? Was it the one in which Grand Lodge? Yeah, that is true. Some are hesitant, and they know. Come on, guys. Let's not be blind. It does take two to make it happen when it comes to recognition. But the third one that's in play is the United Grand Lodge of England. They're the third leg. They are. So look, I've enjoyed the conversation. We've been on here for about 1:30. I appreciate everybody for coming on, and I appreciate your participation and your time, which is very important. If Freemasonry is really about ancient knowledge and the betterment of mankind, why is it important of the issue revolving around visitation legitimacy? Which jurisdiction does the Grand Architect recognize? Oh my goodness. I was just getting ready to go CV Builder 19. I was just getting ready to like sign off, and then you're going to blow me away with this. Man, that's a whole nother damn topic. Let's see. You said if Freemasonry is really about ancient knowledge and the betterment of mankind, why is it most of the issues revolved around visitation legitimacy? Which jurisdiction does the Grand Architect recognize? That's going to be for another show. But let me attempt to go into that for a little bit. Just a little bit. You are right. It is about ancient knowledge and the betterment of mankind. But men like myself, men, period. What we have done and what they have done, they have said, look, you're not legitimate. What? I'm not legitimate. Why? Because we don't recognize you as Masons. Really? So I need to have your okay to study the ancient knowledge and the betterment of mankind. I need your acceptance to do that. If you want to come visit me, you do. If you want to have a conversation about Masonry, you do. No. And you are right, CV Builder 19. Which jurisdiction does the Grand Architect recognize? I can't answer that. I think in God's eyes, we're all on equal footing. In man's eyes, oh, bruh, it's all over the map. Does John G. Jones have recognition with the Grand Lodge of State? We do not. We do not have recognition with the Grand Lodge of State. And we have a declaration with the Prince Hall Grand Lodge of State stating the same thing. And we don't agree to it. They sent it to us, but we didn't respond because we're like, oh, hell no. We can have we can have social events together. This is what it says in the declaration that they sent us. We can have social events together. We can do whatever together, but there would be no lodge visitation. And I'm like, set that over in the corner. I have that letter. Absolutely. Every man or whosoever who actually seek the betterment. Absolutely. In Florida, the last request from PHA was well over 10 years. It was the Grand Lodge of State who chose to continue the dialogue in their body. Okay. Why don't you do a show on independent Grand Lodges? You mean sovereign Grand Lodges who operate accordingly to sovereignty and don't give a damn about anybody else? Is that what you're saying, Brother Maddox? Peace to you. Prince Hall Grand Lodges adhere to their own status and constitution. To a point, you do. Tony, why would the Grand Lodge of State work with PHA they don't recognize? Well, you have to ask them. You have to ask them. The two Grand Lodges that we was talking about earlier, Tennessee and I can't think of the other one right offhand. They have that. That's a relationship that they have where they don't have visitation, but they have mutual recognition. I don't know, to be honest with you, Willie Green. I don't know. Why would they work with PHA if they don't recognize them? I don't know. Or we go there, tell them to visit me and turn a wheel lifting stones, earn the works, and they speak. Black Sun. I missed that. Yes, the Grand Lodge of England did so that you have got permission from your state to get recognized. Yeah, that's true. Really need to speak with a real architect that is a Freemason, preferably, how to draw. Yeah, I can see that point. A real architect, I can see that. No, hold on. I'm going to send you a letter. Are you emailing that letter? Let me see. Where you send that letter to? Let's see. Let me know if you email me that or what you send it to. Just let me know where you send it to. Oh my goodness. You had to call in, didn't you? Yeah, bruh. Hold on. You sound pretty excited. Talk to me.
I sent the letters. Read the letters.
What did you send it? What you
I
sent?
sent it to your inbox.
Oh my God. Okay, I'll read the letter. I will read the letter.
Read the letter, and that's what England told Massachusetts in 1988, and then they rescinded. Read the letter. You'll see it.
Okay, I get it. I'll go read it. All right.
I wanted to do that before you hung up. All right.
All right then. Okay. All right. So here's the letter. This is what it says. It says the restoration of amity between the United Grand Lodge of England and the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Massachusetts. It says September the 21st, 1988. A reply was sent to the Grand Master Richard A. Claytor, stating that, I'm going to turn this around this way. Okay. Let me shrink that. Come on, switch over for me. Let's see. I got to clear this real quick. Okay. Damn. Okay. Your letter dated June the 2nd, 1988 has now been considered by our brothers the general purpose. As you may know, the main bond of connections, as far as this Grand Lodge is concerned, related to the origin of Prince Hall movement, descendant from the African Lodge number 459, formed in Boston in 1784, and then number 459 on the roll of the Grand Lodge of England. The warrant, like any other warrant issued to a private lodge, gave no power. It says it gave no power to recognize nor more than one lodge or have jurisdiction in any country, state, or territories. Therefore, we cannot extend recognition to you while you continue to recognize the state Grand Lodge of Massachusetts. I'm sorry to reply in terms which will cause you a disappointment. Whoa. So they needed, it says, wow. So as long as they had, man, they laid it out there. Anybody who want this letter, email me. I'll forward it to you. If you want what I just read, email me. If you want what I just read, email me, because that right there is something else. That right there is something else. It says a lot. It says a lot. They gave them no power. It said we gave no power to members to form that lodge or other lodges. Also, a policy of our Grand Lodge is to recognize not more than one Grand Lodge having jurisdictions in any country. That's why they needed permission of the Grand Lodge of State. That's why. Because the Grand Lodge of England said, our policy is that we only recognize one Grand Lodge in territories. Until you get the recognition from the Grand Lodge of State, you won't be recognized by us. That's what they did. Did I? Let me see. Yeah. I put Von as .com. I'm sorry. Let's see. No, I'll leave it there. That's jgj@yahoo.com, not Von, V-O-M, bomb, but com. I've been trying to tell people. What you been trying to tell people, Black Son? Man, y'all been going at it. I got to go back up to find out. Tony, how about this? In 2017, the Congress of Grand Masters of North America Recognition Committee submitted a report advising the Grand Lodge of State to start communicating with the various unrecognized bodies. Really? That's very interesting. And that was in 2017? Huh. That's interesting. Didn't know about that one, Brother Aries. Did not know about that one at all. Well, we have our own rituals. We have our own rituals. What we do in our rituals, you won't find in most Masonic rituals. Grand Lodge system. Our system is a little different. Our Grand Lodge system is a little different. Yes, we do have the first 3 degrees, but it's a little different. I would say that the way we open is definitely different. You're not going to find the way we open in any Masonic ritual. You will only see it when you come visit fellowship with my jurisdiction. This is the only way you're going to see it. And it's only done when we open our lodge. So it may be spooky to some people. Some people may call it voodoo or voodoo, but this is how we do it. Let me kind of catch up. Well, I would tell you this, Joshua. The Grand Lodge system for which we have is a little different The way we do things are a little different, you know, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. You know, we have, I would say this, because of our visitation with various other jurisdictions, we have adopted some of the things that they do ritualistically and masonically into what we do in our jurisdiction based on our visitation with foreign brothers. We liked some of the things they was doing. And so the Grand Master said, okay, we're going to rock with it. I tell you what, William Green, I'll email that to you. I'll email the letter to you. I'll email it to you. I put my email address already in here. Go check it out. I will forward that to you. But if you want me to read it again, I'll do that. I just got to turn this thing, make sure my phone can flip, because it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. It's still not doing it. Let me see something. Now let me go here. Oh, you sent 2 letters? Okay, so check this out. The standards of recognition. This is the standards of recognition according to the Commission on Recognition, okay? Since the delegation of conferences each year, it is important to reinstate the standards of recognition adopted for guidance, our guidance. When the commission was formed in 1952, there are guidelines used to evaluate regularity of a Grand Lodge and thereby determine whether it's worthy of consideration for recognition by our member Grand Lodge. This commission provides this data for use by our Grand Lodge and does not attempt to influence or recommend what action should be taken. The commission serves as an investigation adversary capacity only. The standards of recognition are summarized as follows. Number 1, legitimacy of origin. Number 2, exclusive territorial jurisdiction except by mutual consent or treaty. But that was changed. It was changed to say except by not just mutual consent, but by Grand Lodges state sharing Masonic territories. So that was changed. Oh man, oh snaps. I didn't see all of this. Oh, okay, I got it. Boy, y'all be sending me some stuff. Okay, I will make sure I get it over to you. Yep, I got your emails. I see them coming in. I will make sure I forward it over to you. So we've been on about 149. That's good. I appreciate everybody for coming on. And I hope, as always, you know, that you can get something out of here. I'm not just on here just to sprout anything. What I'm saying is that we who are Black Masons specifically need to do better, period, with each other. We need to build these relationships with each other. This is what I'm saying. But if you don't want the relationship, I'm not going to beg you to be my friend. Once the olive branch has been extended and you move your hand or you say that's okay, it's a done deal. I'm not coming back to ask for anything. So in the process, that's me. But you may see it a little differently, and that's okay. Tony, you read the wrong part. The bottom of the 2000. Oh, okay, all right. Let me go back and read the part then. You said I read the wrong part. Oh, I didn't see that, bro. Okay, so it says a great many Grand Lodges continue to appear in North America, each which do not meet the standards for recognition. Further, most of these Grand Lodges make no effort to achieve regularity or even establish a relationship with the Grand Lodge, with a regular Grand Lodge, into whom the jurisdiction they have inserted themselves. The Commission urges great vigilance in establishing a relationship with new Grand Lodges that do not exist in the list of lodges in the Masonic publisher. Oh, okay. It says the Commission urges great vigilance. I can't even get the damn word out. In establishing the relationship with new Grand Lodges that do not exist in the list of. Oh, okay. You're right. They did say that. I didn't see that. I didn't even know I had that report until you just sent it over to me on through text. I appreciate that. All right, so I would talk to some people and try to make it happen. Okay. All right, so look, I gotta go. I got some things I gotta do. Yeah, I got some things I got to do. I appreciate everybody for coming on. Tell them to change that to charitable impact because that is the purpose. Yes, they change the rules as they see fit. So, hey, it is what it is. I thank everybody for coming on, and we've been on here almost 2 hours. If you want this information that I have, I will definitely forward it to you. If you email me, and I'll definitely get it to you, okay? With all respect to everybody, I appreciate it. And the best thing a man can ever say to you is peace. Thank you. I appreciate it. The higher we climb, the clearer the vision. Whatever you do, stay out the bushes and keep your light on. Boy, you guys have me cracking up. The beginning of that is hilarious. 1991, clandestine Masons are the worst. Okay. Well, that doesn't pertain to me, so I'll leave that where it's at. I'm out. Oh. Hello. Okay, so you're on the show. What you got?
I was saying we were talking about the recognition thing. No, about Hilton. The only reason why he broke up from England was because that was true about the royal lodge and stuff, but he didn't want to go by England's rules, so he said the hell with it. So he gonna do this all, but and then that's the only reason why, because after all the Grand Lodges from 1813 split in terms of their charters and stuff, they became sovereign.
Okay.
When I was telling the other brother, Feliciano, whatever his name, obviously only means you share your jurisdiction with another Grand Lodge, but you do your own thing. That Grand Lodge does their own thing. They have their own customs and traditions and stuff. One Grand Master don't tell the other Grand Master what to do. That's what I was
Uh-huh.
The young brother.
Okay.
Recognition only means you have to get recognition from your state counterpart. They don't have to recognize you, but if they do, they got to sign. Both grand lodges sign a mutual compact or Masonic treaty saying that they recognize you. The old ancient I can't think of it right now. But the ancient craft, the three degrees and all of that. You know what I mean. They believe in all of that. They believe in the supreme being and all that other stuff. So they all work together. And if that grand lodge put a vote on it, then they're recognized. But also it's a trick to it. They can either recognize you for live visitation or mutual recognition. But they don't have to recognize you for live visitation. So you still handicap, but not ugly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was my input.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. That kind of clears things up. You still there? Oh, okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. Kind of clears things up, but I'm going to go ahead and log off because they are going crazy in this chat room, and I'm trying to get out of here because we've been on here almost 2 hours.
Oh, well, yeah, I would like to see that copy of that, what Hilton said about the Royal Lodge.
Oh, I was just saying that they was requesting a charter for the Royal Arch at the time, and they was denied that charter. So Hilton severed ties with the United Grand Lodge of England at that time.
Yeah.
I have the letter, so that's basically what it says.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
Okay. I'll tell you what I'll do. When I have the opportunity, I'll take a picture and I'll forward you a copy. Text me up.
Okay.
All right, then I appreciate it.
All
right, later.
Bye.
Bye. Black Sun asked what happened. Somebody called in, Black Sun. Somebody called in as I was getting ready to log off. So look, I'm gonna make this a 2-hour even podcast today. It's been long. I know it's been long, and boy, the line has been hot. Please get out and stop spreading lies. Well, I tell you what, Wiseman, Peace 1991. Get out and stop spreading lies. Well, what are you on here for? Why are you even here? Really, why are you even here? A rubbish information. Boy, you spread a lot of time. You spend a lot of time talking rubbish, but you here. If I spend a lot of time talking rubbish, why are you even here? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Why are you even here? If I was spending all this time talking rubbish, you can go to somewhere else. As a matter of fact, you need to go over to Prince Hall Think Tank or the Masonic Roundtable or someplace else and spend your time, because apparently you being over here is a waste of your time. Slave. But Tony, it doesn't matter what Hilton did, because the UGLE had already subscribed PHA in 1813. That's like saying you quit years after you was fired. I was just reading what the letter said, bro. I got you. I'm just reading what the letter said. They was already done. The ties was already split, but Hilton wrote the letter. I got you. You still on the northeast corner. You know what? I got a trick for you, bro. I'm gonna put you in timeout. Wisdom Peace 1991 has just been put in timeout because that young man right there, he's special. He's special. You've been put in timeout. I agree. I can repost this. You're absolutely correct. Was it the War of 1812? I don't know if there was a war, but I do know that William Green is right. And I'll repost what he said. And I agree. They always drop from the roll. How about I show you a show? You who's a bitch, leave your ass with a twitch. Ooh, Spencer, I don't know who that was for. I can't do that one. Yes, George Washington Lodge was considered clandestine to a lot of Masonic bodies. But later, whatever happened, happened. So look, your moment life coach in peace, brother. I appreciate it. Look, I'm going to go. We've been on here for 2 hours, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And I've said I was going to leave for the 3rd time. And right now, I'm out. Peace and be well to everybody. When you are listening, you can learn. I am listening. King Solomon, I appreciate you. Thank you. Take care, everybody. God bless. Peace and be well.